from the betting capital of the world. Giving raw and real breakdowns of mixed martial arts and recapping UFC events like no one else with producer Martin on the ones and twos and combat sports betting expert Effie. You're listening to Any Action Sportscast. Any Action Sportscast. So put your headphones on and let's take this podcast to the next level.
This isn't a podcast. It's a sportscast.
What's up, guys? We are back. It's your boy Effie with Any Action Sportscast, here to go over UFC 283. I am super excited to talk about these fights. A stacked 15-fight card with 2 title fights, a heavyweight sacrifice fight, and a legend getting sent off in Shogun Hua. T-Rex's fight's going to be insane. Robocop Rodrigues' fight's going to be insane. Gilbert Burns versus Neil Magny is going to be pretty exciting. And I'm super excited to talk about these fights, man. Before we do that, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 150 subscribers, and we really appreciate all the support. So without any further ado, let's get right into UFC 283. In the main event at UFC 283, we have the light heavyweight strap up for grabs when Glover Teixeira takes on Jamahal Hill in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I am super excited about this fight, and we only have 2 bets on this fight. The link to the video is in our bio. Make sure you check out our official bets video. And I gotta go with Jamahal Hill to win this fight, man. I think he's gonna finish Glover Teixeira in the 3rd round. I think the age gap here, the 12-year age gap in this fight is significant. And I finally think that the 43-year-old Glover Teixeira is gonna show signs of slowing down. He's coming off fight of the year, I was about to say contender, but it was fight of the year with Jiri Prochazka, and he took a ton of damage. I will say, man, he had Jiri hurt as well in that fight, and it was an incredible performance. A lot of people doubted him in that fight. He was a huge underdog in that fight. I think a plus 250 underdog. And he's an underdog in this fight as well. Jamahal Hill's betting line has gone from minus 120. Now I'm seeing minus 135, minus 140. And I'm not surprised at that. I'm expecting that line to move, even though this fight is in Brazil. We got to go with the younger fighter, the taller, longer fighter in Jamahal Hill. I do not like that he did get taken down 6 times by Thiago Santos, a guy that got reconstructive knee surgery. So he's basically in there with 1.5 legs, taking down Jamahal Hill 6 times in a fight. But man, that fight proved to me that when he does get taken down, Jamahal Hill doesn't panic. He doesn't spaz out and just immediately give up his back on the way up. He's good enough to get up relatively quickly and avoid dangerous positions on the mat. Now, I understand Thiago Santos and Glover Teixeira's ground game are nowhere near the same level. Glover Teixeira, the way he's pounding these guys out, he's just suffocating on the mat. The way he did Anthony Smith was insane. I believe that was a fight where Anthony Smith had to get a bunch of new teeth. And then same thing with Thiago Santos. He got him down and pounded him out too. Jan Blachowicz, same thing. And I actually had money on Blachowicz in that fight. I had the under in the Jiri Prochazka fight. So I'm thinking for once, let me please get a Glover Teixeira fight right. I'm taking Jamahal Hill and the over 1.5 rounds. The link to our video is in the bio. Make sure you check out our official bets video. But yeah, man, Jamahal Hill is going to be the young guy, 12 years younger, longer, taller, quicker fighter. I think that he's going to crack Glover Teixeira in this fight. The big thing is, what's it going to look like when Glover Teixeira does eventually take Jamahal Hill down? Because I think he will get taken down in this fight. Like I said, he's southpaw, so that lead leg is going to be there to get grabbed and taken down from Glover Teixeira, die for that single leg. But I actually think that Glover Teixeira is going to pressure Jamahal along the cage and try to clinch up and take him down from there via trip or something else. But I'm going with the younger guy, Jamahal Hill. Pull off, I don't want to say upset because he's a favorite, but he's going into enemy territory. He's going to have all those people yelling that you're going to die chant at him, and he's going to stay composed. And it's going to be his time to be the new light heavyweight champion. In the co-main event, we have a flyweight title fight between Deiveson Figuieredo and Brandon Moreno. This is the 4th time these guys have fought, with the first time being a draw, even though I thought Figgy won that fight. The 2nd time, Brandon Moreno submitting Figgy, and then most recently, in January of last year, Figgy winning via decision against Brandon Moreno. Now, let's start with that, guys. This rematch, the last time they fought that 3rd fight, was 1 year ago. Brandon Moreno actually fought in between then, and he actually fought against Kai France, which I will say he looked good, finished Kai France, but he wore damage really bad in that fight. If you guys remember, his face was busted up for a few months after that fight. It was actually kind of surprising. Kai France actually looked like the fresher one out of that fight, ended up getting finished with a sick body shot by Brandon Moreno. Impressive. Now we're here with another title fight. On the other side, Figueiredo's been inactive for over a year now, 35 years old, coming off hand surgery. Now, the whole week, I was thinking I was going to pick Figueiredo. I wanted to get Figgy with it. I think that he has a significant power advantage in this fight. Guys, he's 35 years old fighting at flyweight, and that weight cut hasn't been healthy for him his whole career. So the fact that he's getting older, it's only going to get tougher. I understand that he left Henry Cejudo's camp out of Arizona, and now he's in Brazil for this camp. But on the other side, so did Brandon Moreno. Brandon Moreno was with James Krause, and we all know what happened with him in that gambling scandal. So he ended up switching to Safe Side Youth's camp in Colorado, and I think that's going to do him well, man. In that last fight where he lost via decision, Figueiredo had a game plan of really establishing that lead leg kick. Brandon was kind of caught being heavy on that front leg, and Deiveson was eating it up, and mixing in a couple takedowns. I will say, man, he's more of the moment winner in that fight, or really the whole series so far, than Brandon Moreno being the minute winner. Both guys can push a pace, but I think that with the age and the weight cut, I think that Figueiredo's power and ability to win those significant moments and steal rounds, similar to someone like Chito Vera, is gonna fade. I think that Brandon Moreno, being the 6 years younger here, taller, longer fighter, more active fighter, gotta go with the Mexican here, guy. I understand it's in Brazil. Jet lag is a question to me. Obviously, the home crowd's going to be going crazy for every little thing Figueiredo does. I think that Brandon Moreno has a better fight IQ, and he's not going to be making stupid mistakes in this fight, and he's going to get that belt back. I'm going Brandon Moreno to win this fight via 3rd or 4th round stoppage. I don't know if it's going to be a submission or a knockout, but I think that he's going to finish Deiveson Figueiredo, and that 35-year-old flyweight cut the flyweight, going to finally catch up with him. And yeah, he's going to lose in front of that home crowd. Hot take. Let's go. Shout out to my Mexicans. Let's go, Brandon Moreno. Vamos. Up next, we have a banger of a fight in the welterweight division between Gilbert Burns and Neil Magny. The Brazilian Gilbert Burns comes in as a massive favorite, sitting at -410, while Neil Magny, the Haitian sensation, comes in sitting at +320. Now, that line shocked me. I'll be honest, guys. I do think that Gilbert Burns is going to win this fight, and he actually has a chance to finish this fight. But, bro, that's an insane line. I understand -300, -350, but, man, money's been pouring in on Burns, who, let's face it, guys, is a 36-year-old welterweight coming off a long layoff against Khamzat Chimaev. Fought Khamzat a really long time ago. I believe it was 9 months ago. And I feel like it's not his fault. I feel like he's been asking for fights and just no one wants to fight him. He's been begging for that Jorge Masvidal fight, which I think he would do horrific things to Jorge Masvidal. But he's fighting a guy in Neil Magny that will be significantly bigger than Gilbert Burns in this fight. I don't know if it's going to be such an easy fight as a lot of people expect. Neil Magny is 6'3", Gilbert Burns is 5'10", and Neil Magny has an 80-inch reach, while Gilbert Burns has a 71-inch reach. It's a 9-inch reach advantage for Neil Magny. And damn, that's going to be significant here. The way Neil Magny fights, he has a really good clinch, very active clinch work along the cage. And I feel like Gilbert Burns is going to be pressing and moving forward the whole time. And who knows, I wouldn't be surprised to see Neil Magny win minutes along the cage here. Overall, though, I don't like how Neil Magny has been wearing shots. He's been reacting really bad. That Max Griffin fight was really bad look. I actually kind of thought he lost that fight. And yeah, I think Gilbert Burns has enough tools, whether it be on the feet with the power or obviously on the ground where he's a jiu-jitsu master, to finish Neil Magny, man. I know he's super durable, but I think that age is 35. I understand that Gilbert Burns is older, but yeah, I just have a feeling that Gilbert Burns gonna want to produce in front of that home Brazilian crowd. I think I saw embedded that he said that he has over 1,000 people coming to this fight, which actually blows my mind. Like, how do you even know 1,000 people? Like, I don't know, shit. But yeah, man, give me Gilbert Burns to win via either 3rd round, finish, or decision. I actually like that over 1.5 rounds. My book actually opened it at 1.5 and then immediately changed it to 2.5. Pick 'em. And man, 2.5 is a little bit more risky, but I love that over 1.5. Like I said, I do feel confident in Gilbert Burns to win this fight. But at that line, that's a pass for me. Not even a parlay piece, because man, Neil Magny is going to be way bigger, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this fight end up along the clinch. Give me Gilbert Burns via late finish or decision. Up next, we have a women's flyweight fight between Jessica Andrade and Lucky Lauren Murphy. Andrade comes in with a 23-9 record, currently sitting as a massive -460 favorite. Lucky Lauren Murphy comes in with a 16-5 record, currently sitting as an enormous +370 underdog. First thing I gotta mention is Lauren Murphy will be 39 years old when this fight takes place, and Jessica Andrade will be 31. But she's gonna be the way bigger fighter than Jessica, as she'll be 4 inches taller and have a 6-inch reach advantage. Jessica Andrade will have the speed advantage on the feet, and I would say the power advantage also on the feet as well. She has good jiu-jitsu, good grappling. But Lauren Murphy is also not a slouch, man. She just finds ways to win, and she's actually really durable. She's only been finished 1 time in 21 professional fights. And I feel like if she wants to win this fight, she's going to have to win a decision. I feel like if Jessica Andrade can't get her out early here, we might see her fade. But it is in Brazil. She is going to have the home crowd on her side. So who knows? Maybe she goes out and just blasts Lauren Murphy in the first round and gets her out here quick, because she is really, really strong, guys. She's 31 years old, but she is only 5'1", which worries me because Lauren Murphy is a big girl, man. She's the more natural 125er, and Andrade gonna have the speed advantage, gonna be the quicker fighter, slicker fighter, younger fighter. But that line is just so wide, man. Minus 460. I bet you everyone out there is putting Andrade in their parlays, and who knows, she might go out there and blast Lauren Murphy in the first round. But that line is just so wide, man. Minus 460 on a girl that's fighting a woman in Lauren Murphy that's only been finished one time in 21 professional fights. Man, I'm going with Jessica Andrade. I wouldn't mind anyone out there betting Lauren Murphy via decision because I feel like that is her win condition. I don't think that she's going to finish Jessica Andrade. I don't think that she's going to knock her out or submit her. I think that if Lauren Murphy wins, she's going to win via decision. But I'm taking Jessica Andrade to win via first round knockout. And up next is the retirement fight of a UFC legend, Mauricio Shogun Hua taking on Ihor Potieria. Mauricio comes in as a plus 170 underdog to the young 26-year-old sitting at minus 200. Now, I thought when Jamahal Hill was fighting Glover Teixeira, that 12-year age gap was going to be the biggest age gap we'll see on the card. But it's actually this fight. There's a 15-year age gap in this fight, guys. Mauricio, 41 years old, Ihor, 26. Ihor is going to be the taller guy and have a slight disadvantage in the reach area. Man, he's just a younger, quicker fighter here at this point. But I think this is a winnable fight for Shogun here. I don't blame anyone for taking a shot at plus 170 because Ihor is a trash can beater. He's a padded record, 18-3. If you go look on his resume, he was going to split decisions on the regional scene with guys that were 17-18. He got lit up by Moreno. And I will say, the way Nikolai fought that fight, he was coming forward and putting the pace on Ihor. I doubt that's the way Mauricio is going to win this fight. If anything, he's probably going to have to win a slow, drawn-out fight. But, man, this is actually a winnable fight. I expected to watch tape on Ihor and expect this guy to come out and dust Mauricio. At this point, he's ancient, But no, man, I think that Mauricio could win this fight. I'm not going to be betting it. As far as the pick, I am picking Mauricio. Call me a fanboy or whatever, but I'm going with him. If you're rooting or betting on Ihor, you're a hoe. Let's go Shogun all day via decision. Up next, to open up the pay-per-view card, we have a light heavyweight fight between Paul Craig and Johnny Walker. The Bear Jew Paul Craig comes in 16-5-1, currently sitting as a plus 150 underdog. Johnny Walker comes in at 19-7, currently sitting as a minus 190 favorite. Johnny Walker will be 5 years younger, 3 inches taller, and have a 6-inch reach advantage over Paul Craig. Thing is, this is a classic grappler versus striker fight where Paul Craig is just an elite submission artist. He's sub or bust, kind of one-dimensional in my opinion, fighting a super dangerous striker in Johnny Walker. We just saw what he did in his last fight, Johnny Walker. He actually got the submission over Ian Cutelaba, which I didn't expect, honestly. I expected that fight to be a stand and bang fight, and it was good to see him show that side of his game. He's going to have to avoid Paul Craig's guard here like it's the plague, because if at any moment Paul Craig gets you in his guard, he's liable to submit you right away. This guy is desperate to get submissions, and he's going to be flopping around on his back, inviting Johnny Walker into his guard all fight, I feel like. That's why I like that over at 1.5 rounds at plus 125. We put a half a unit on that, and that line is actually at plus 145. I know it's a bad bet for how early we got on it in the week, and both these guys are elite finishers, especially in that first round. So it's risky, man, but I'm a risk taker, and I think that this fight's going to get extended. I think that Johnny Walker is going to find Paul Craig's chin, because I'm just not impressed with Paul Craig on the feet. We actually had him we had Ozdemir against him in his last fight, and I'm ready to fade him here again. I feel like those, the days of him flopping on the ground, getting last-second submissions in fights are over. I think that Johnny Walker is going to have a good enough submission defense here to avoid getting submitted by Paul Craig, because, man, that's the one thing you can't do against this guy. Who knows? Maybe he goes in there and shows low fight IQ and just chases him down and enters his world down there. But I don't think so. I think Johnny Walker is going to be able to win this fight and knock out Paul Craig. Up next, we have another late notice replacement fight in the lightweight division when Thiago Moises welcomes Costa to the UFC. Thiago Moises comes in with a 16-6 record, currently sitting as a pretty big minus 350 favorite. Costa comes in, making his UFC debut, coming in at 19-5, currently sitting as a plus 285 underdog. And I get it, man. Thiago Moises, while he did lose 2 back-to-back fights to Joel Alvarez and Islam Makhachev, got sparked by Joel Alvarez, but let's be honest, man, he's a 6', 155er, so I kind of don't blame him. And he missed weight for that fight. Then look at the Makhachev fight. He made it to the 4th round. Not a lot of guys are doing that. Against Makhachev, he ultimately got submitted. He actually took down Makhachev in that fight, which is very surprising. It was actually a pretty easy takedown, dude. He dumped Islam. And then on Costa on the other side, pretty powerful striker. I've only seen a couple of his fights in LFA. And he looks good, man. He's like some sort of bum out of nowhere coming out on short notice. He definitely has a chance. He's going to have to crack Moises here and knock him out, which, let's be honest, not a lot of people are doing. We did see, like I said, the 6'1" Alvarez do it to him, but I don't see it happening here against Costa. I think that Moises is going to be able to get his back and submit him here. I do like everything about Thiago. Because guys, it seems that he only loses to higher level competition. He lost to Benil Dariush. He lost to Islam Makhachev. He lost to Demir Ismagulov. I mean, those guys are all really, really high level guys. He beat Bobby Green, beat Alex Hernandez. I mean, those are good wins, man. I think that he's a better overall MMA fighter in this fight. He's not on short notice. And yeah, man, give me Thiago Moises to win in his home country relatively easily here, guys. I'm not giving the underdog a chance here. So, hey, if he pulls off the upset, I'll eat it. But give me Thiago Moises to win via submission. Up next, we have a welterweight fight between Gabriel Bonfim and Mounir Lazzez. Bonfim making his UFC debut, coming in with a perfect 13-0 record, currently sitting as a -185 favorite. Mounir Lazzez, the UFC vet, coming in with an 11-2 record, currently sitting as a +155 underdog. Now, Mounir will be 35 years old in this fight, guys, against a 25-year-old Gabriel, undefeated fighter making his debut, but he will have a 4-inch reach advantage over Gabriel. This is a very tough UFC debut. I'm actually surprised at the matchmaking with the Bonfim brothers. They're pretty spectacular on the Contender Series, and they're giving them tough fights right away. The other brother, Ismael, getting Terrence McKinney later on the card, and this guy, Gabriel, getting Mounir Lazzez, who, let's be honest, is a very good striker, man. I'm not worried about him getting finished by Warley Alves to the body. That, I don't say it was a fluke shot, but man, if you get hit in the right spot, and like, you're going to go down. I don't care who you are. Those liver shots will put you down. Gabriel Bonfim, 13-0, all 13 via finish. He has 10 subs, 3 knockouts. But those subs are coming from guys kind of sticking their head in, trying to take him down out of desperation takedowns, because he's rocking guys, man. He has really good striking, very comfortable going off the back foot. Doesn't kick as much as I would like, but has really devastating hands, guys. 13-0 though, making his UFC debut against a guy who's already fought in the UFC and looked good in his last fight. Against Ange Losa, Mounir Lazzez was just so dynamic and versatile with his strikes, mixing in kicks, mixing in some punches. I like how he goes to the body a lot. And man, that age 35 years old is what's going to put me off betting him here as a dog, because I think this is more of a pick'em fight, especially when you're making your debut. At this point, you're in front of the Brazilian crowd, and I gotta imagine there's some pressure, right? Like, there's no way he could go in there and just be fully relaxed, especially when your brother's on the card, and he also has a tough fight against Terrence McKinney. Man, the official pick is gonna be Mounir Lazzez, the UFC vet. I know he's not like a veteran, been there forever, but he has 3 UFC fights at this point versus Gabriel, who I am high on, man. I think he's gonna have a good career, but it's one of those you have to prove it to me spots. He's gonna have to prove it that he's the truth to me, and I'm not gonna be betting on Mounir or Gabriel in this fight, because I think that Mounir is a live dog at +155. I'm not going to get to it, but I don't blame anyone for taking a shot on Mounir Lazzez here. So I'm going with the underdog. Pull the upset and defeat the Brazilian Gabriel Bonfim via 3-round decision. In the heavyweight sacrifice division, we have Jailton Almeida taking on Shamil Abdulrakimov. Jailton comes in with a 17-2 record, currently sitting as a -1,000 favorite over Shamil, who's coming in with a 20-7 record, currently sitting as a +650 underdog. Not going to waste too much time on this fight, guys. This will be an open and shut case. Jailton's going to take down Shamil, the 41-year-old fighter here, and pound him out or submit him right away. I don't think this fight's going to reach round 2, and if it does, it's going to end in the first half of round 2. Like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on this fight on -1,000 favorite on a fight that's been booked 3 times already. We've talked about this fight over and over and over again, and every time Shamil keeps pulling out. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Shamil pull out again for his own safety, and just let Jailton fight someone else. Let him fight up the rankings and start to progress toward a title shot. I actually don't know what divisions he's going to fight in, a light heavyweight or heavyweight. Yeah, interesting to see what they do with Jailton. But yeah, this will be a sacrifice. Jailton Almeida will do horrific things to Shamil. Bet him inside the distance if you want. It's going to be like -500. But yeah, all day Jailton Almeida via, let's say, ground and pound. Up next is a fight that I'm ecstatic about. I can't wait to watch this fight in the lightweight division between Terrence McKinney and Ismael Bonfim. Terrence McKinney comes in with a 13-4 record, currently sitting as a -135 favorite. Ismael will be making his UFC debut, coming in with an 18-3 record, currently sitting as a +105 underdog. McKinney will be 28 years old, Bonfim 27 years old. McKinney will be 5'10", Bonfim 5'8", and McKinney will have a 73-inch reach, while Bonfim will have a 71-inch reach. Now, where do I begin? This should be fireworks for as long as it lasts. Terrence McKinney, I don't want to call him a front runner, but dude, his pace is just sprint. It's just 1 to a million sprint right away. I'm going to go for the kill right away. And I hope he develops some sort of pace or fight IQ throughout his career, because This dude is just so physically gifted. It's unreal, man. This guy is really strong, really fast, really quick for the division, and super powerful, man. He has that death touch 100%. We saw him debut against Matt Frevola and just sparked him right in the first exchange. Quickest knockout for debut ever. And then in his last fight, after taking a short notice loss against Drew Dober, in a fight where he almost put out the guy with one of the best chins in the UFC in Drew Dober on short notice, he comes back and gets a pretty easy win against Eric Gonzalez, and did what he had to do as a massive favorite in that fight. So super exciting fighter, a bit of a front runner. I think only one of his fights I've ever seen round two, which is just unreal. We have seen him get knocked out earlier and previously in his career against lower level competition. But man, Ismael Bonfim, his opponent, is getting a tough debut fight against Terrence McKinney. I'm pretty high on Bonfim. Both the Bonfim brothers I really like. They impressed me on Contender Series, and ever since then I've been excited to see what they're going to do with him. So for them to give him Terrence McKinney, I was shocked. I was like, man, they must either think this kid's the truth, and we're going to find out quick, or they're just trying to pump up Terrence McKinney or something, because in Brazil, fighting Bonfim is a tough task. I'm not going to lie. I do worry about the jet lag for Terrence McKinney in this fight, and I will say, on the mat, I think that Terrence McKinney is going to have a significant grappling advantage. I don't rate Bonfim's wrestling as high as McKinney, because I'm actually really impressed by McKinney's wrestling. I know that Chiesa was his coach earlier on in his career. I don't know about now, but man, the kid's pretty good on the ground. You would think by seeing his highlights or watching his fights, this kid's just all like knockout, going to try to kill you. But he actually is a really good competent grappler. Ismael, more technically sound on the feet. I believe his punches are going to be sharper, not as loopy. But he just doesn't have the power that McKinney has, especially early. So if he could just survive that first tidal wave from McKinney and extend this fight, I think he's going to be a really live dog. And I actually wouldn't be surprised to see this fight go over 1.5 rounds. It's just that the books aren't giving me enough juice on that line. To me, that should be plus at least 200 because of how frequently Terrence McKinney is able to finish his fights early. But man, I think they're only offering plus 150 around that area, so I'm not going to lay it. That's not worth it. But I do think that Terrence McKinney is going to win this fight in a fight where Ismael Bonfim has all the tools to make it very interesting. I'm going to take Terrence McKinney via first round knockout. But man, I am so excited for this fight. Up next, we have a women's featherweight fight. You heard that right, a women's featherweight fight between Josiane Nunes and Zahara Farron. Nunes comes in at 9-1, currently sitting as a massive 450 favorite, while Zara comes in at 6-4, currently sitting as a massive plus 350 underdog. Now, the tail of the tape is absolutely crazy in this fight, guys. Josiane Nunes is 29 years old, while Zahara is 36. She'll be 7 years younger than Farron here. And man, she's 5'2". Josiane Nunes is a 5'2", 145 women's fighter, guys. She's a little gremlin. And then Zahara is 5'8", with a massive reach of 73 inches compared to Josiane Nunes at 67-inch reach. Now, when you guys watch these girls fight, one's going to be like this big and the other one's going to be a skyscraper. But dude, Josiane is a stud. She's a little beast. She goes in and wrecks people, man. She has power in her hands and she's just going to kill. I think that she's going to absolutely destroy Zahara in this fight, who is 6-4, like I said, and hasn't fought in over 2 years. Very inactive fighter, have no idea how she's still in the roster. I predict she'll get cut after she gets knocked out in this fight. So give me Josiane Nunes to win via second round knockout. I will say it is a little worrisome that she's so short against a kickboxing fighter in Zahara here. But man, it's just so wide. That line is so wide. I feel like the bookies know, man. She's going to spark this girl. Hasn't fought in over 2 years, like I said. You just got to avoid the clinch and not get grabbed up and lose minutes along the cage here. Because at distance, I think that she's going to spark this woman and just eat her up. Give me Nunes to win via second round knockout. Up next, we have a bantamweight fight between Luan Lacerda and Cody Stamann. Lacerda will be making his UFC debut, coming in with a 12-1 record, currently sitting as a plus 260 underdog. Cody Stamann, the UFC vet, coming in with a 25-1 record, currently sitting as a minus 330 favorite. I'm going with Cody Stamann in this fight. This is a tough fight for Lacerda, who, I'll be honest, isn't that bad, man. I'm pretty impressed with him. Really good jiu-jitsu, really good submission finisher, really. But man, I feel like if he can get Cody Stamann down on the feet, I expect Cody to have way more volume and power than Lacerda here, and just have better overall technique, be a more sophisticated striker, and avoid the ground. I understand that Cody Stamann is a good wrestler and a good grappler, but I feel like he's going to be wanting to avoid getting this fight to the mat. So in a fight where I think that Cody Stamann is going to be inviting it to be a 15-minute striking fight, where Lacerda, on the other hand, is going to be diving at legs, trying to pull guard, trying to ankle pick him to get this fight on the mat, I feel like Cody Stamann is going to be able to withstand and keep this fight on the feet to win a decision. This is a tough fight for your debut fight against Cody Stamann, but The only two people to submit Cody Stamann in the UFC are Saeed Nurmagomedov and Aljamain Sterling. Both those guys are high-level elite grapplers. But let's just say, I'm not saying that Luan Lacerda isn't as good as them in the grappling realm, but let's be honest, man. Cody Stamann is fighting the higher level of competition, has some pretty good wrestling of his own right, and I feel like he has enough tools to win this fight, man. At minus 330, I feel like he's going to cover that price tag and win either a fairly easy decision or just cruise to a 29-28. Give me Cody Stamann to win via decision. Up next, we have a banger of a fight in the middleweight division between Gregory Brazilian Obama Rodrigues and Brunno Ferreira. Gregory comes in with a 13-4 record, currently sitting as a massive minus 350 favorite. Brunno making his UFC debut coming off Contender Series undefeated 9-0, currently sitting as a massive plus 285 underdog. Both guys are 30 years old, but Gregory Rodrigues will be taller. He is 6'3", while Brunno Ferreira is 5'10". Gregory Rodrigues has a 75-inch reach, while Brunno has a 72-inch reach. So pretty similar on the tail of the tape other than that height disadvantage. But man, where do we begin? Brazilian Obama, Gregory Rodrigues. I like this guy, man. I really like betting on him. Really good jiu-jitsu. Doesn't really show it that much in fights. I love watching his Fight Pass Invitationals. This guy does work on those jiu-jitsu tournaments. Really big for the division. Very powerful striker. He's one of those guys where a grappler that fell in love with his hands because he's cracking guys, man. We'll say, this is a short notice replacement fight. Brunno taking this on short notice as Gregory's original opponent dropped out, Brad Tavares, or I don't know how you say it, Tavares. But yeah, so it's gonna be a tough, step up in competition here for Brunno. But this kid's good, man. 9-0, has a lot of power, really good hands, and is a knockout artist pretty much. I'm excited to see how his UFC career is gonna play out. He is slightly small for the division at 5'10", but man, this is a tough test on your debut on short notice. But I will say a big red flag for me is how recently in Gregory's last fight against Chidi, he got busted open bad, man. That was that fight where he got that cut in between his eyes, and it was so disgusting, man. You can actually see like artery vein or whatever they call him. That sounded dumb, but yeah, man, you can see one of his veins, and that was just so disgusting. So I gotta imagine what happens if he gets hit right there again. Does it open up right away? And if it does, he is screwed. And if you're betting him, parlaying him at minus 350, and that cut gets opened by a powerful striker like Brunno, man, I'm gonna be worried. I'm staying away from this fight. I do think that Brunno is going to lose this fight. I think Gregory has enough tools to win this fight pretty convincingly. But that cut, having been so recent, does worry me. I do like the fact that it is short notice for Rodrigues here. It doesn't do Brunno any favors. But I'm going with Gregory Rodrigues to win via first-round knockout. Man, that cut scares me, guys. And I'm not going to be betting this fight at all. And that'll do it, guys. Our full card UFC 283 prediction video. Thanks so much for watching another one. And I do have a treat for you. We have added one more bet to our bet slate this week. We are taking Brandon Moreno at minus 120 for 1.25 units to beat Deiveson Figuieredo and become the new champion. Vamos way, Viva la Mexico. I think that Brandon Moreno is going to be able to finish Figgy this time. The 35-year-old flyweight who hasn't fought in a year coming off hand surgery. Give me the Mexican, give me Brandon Moreno. And make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think about our predictions. And I really appreciate all the support, guys. We'll see you guys next week for a recap video because the UFC is off. But I hope you guys good luck on your bets. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.